We have representation from research organizations who are basically experts. So why are we again going to university looking for representation when farmers are not represented? So I think there we have some ambiguity there, which I think we will be able to raise it during the committee of the whole house. Mr. Speaker, the sugar development levy. In the past, there were concerns on how this money is utilized. There were concerns on lack of transparency. There were concerns on lack of equity on management of this fund. But the bill goes further to propose how this money will be shared. Whereas I agree that a big portion of this money should go to Ken development and productivity. Mr. Speaker, Ken development is a key aspect in this sugar industry. And I think the sugar industry started going down in this country when we lost focus on matters to do with the Ken husbandry and Ken development, and started focusing on other things which were not going to generate raw materials for use by these factories. So the proposal to enhance this allocation to 40%, I fully agree with that proposal, because then there will be a lot of focus towards matters of supply, matters of production of raw materials, which is very crucial to the industry. Taking note that last year, the sugar industries in western part of the country closed because there were no raw materials. And that affected the economy of the region. So a lot of focus should be put around Ken development and productivity. There is a proposal still on the development levy that 5% should go to farmers' organization and 15% to go to research and training. Mr. Speaker, I think a lot needs to be put on farmers' organization, because, you know, we have outgrower companies, which most of them have died. But I think outgrower companies was a good idea, so that to try and provide avenues to enhance Ken development and productivity. So 5%, in my view, is too little. It should be enhanced to 10%, because 15% that is being taken to Kenya Sugar Research Foundation, which is a government institution, should largely be taken, a portion of it should be taken to the farmers' organization to enhance farmers' participation in Ken development and other factors. Mr. Speaker, it is proposed that 15% should go towards infrastructure development through KERA. I am among the people who are saying no to KERA. I think this money, we must critically think where to take it. Because KERA in this country has become National Assembly Road Authority. That is the truth. And they give money to members of parliament to maintain roads. The same roads are being, counties are also saying they are maintaining the same roads. Mr. Speaker, I think this aspect of KERA must be looked at, and I'm proposing that instead of KERA, we take this money to the counties, which we can oversight as senators. Because we cannot have a scenario where money generated from our sugar cane growing areas is taken to the national institution, and then the national institution brings back the money through members of parliament, I think members of the National Assembly. I think that is one area that we must look at. And the members who contributed yesterday, Mr. Speaker, had an issue with this aspect of KERA. So I think when we go to the committee of the whole, we need to look at this matter very critically, whether it is worthy to give 15% of the sugar development levy to Kera when we have the counties in those areas which can maintain those roads, and we will be there to oversight that. Mr. Speaker, there is also a proposal on pricing formula committee, and in the pricing formula, they are talking about factors to be considered in determining the pricing formula. And I have talked about a number of factors which I fully agree, one of it being the aspect of delayed harvesting. Delayed harvesting of cane is a cost to the farmers, because when cane is harvested, there is delayed harvesting of cane, it impacts on the farmer, and that is a cost. So I think that should be a factor in determining the pricing formula. But there is one factor which has been omitted, and this factor is international pricing factor. We must, when we are looking at the pricing, we must look at what are the factors, pricing factors in other jurisdictions. Why is it that the cost of producing sugar in Brazil is lower than Kenya, or in Swaziland here is lower than? That is an important factor for consideration in determining the pricing formula. And I would wish that that should be included in the bill. Mr. Speaker, clause 59 is very interesting, Mr. Speaker, because it talks about the incorporation of farmers' representation in the board of private sugar mills. Mr. Speaker, I don't know how this will work, because this contradicts the Company Act. Because I am an investor, I have come to set up a factory in Kenya, and you are telling me that in your factory, you must bring someone else as a director in that company. I mean, this can also have a negative effect in terms of investment, because investors will shy investing in the sugar industry because of this condition that a farmer whose only contribution is to deliver cane to the factory and is paid for it has to become a shareholder or has to become a director. I think we have a problem there, and is a contradiction to the Company Act, and it discourages investment. Mr. Speaker, the clause on clause 33, the sugar industry inspectors, whereas, Mr. Speaker, I fully agree that the role that these people have is very important. They will be basically providing oversight over the functions of millers or players in the industry. But it creates a contradiction in the sense that then what is the space of Kenya Sugar Board? And what is the space of the sugar industry inspectors? Yes, they are appointed by the Kenya Sugar Board, but who are these people? They are not employees. They're just people who are appointed. And these people can have been given excessive powers, which they can misuse and create more problems for the sector. So I think we need clarity as to who these people are. Are they direct employees of the Kenya Sugar Board, or there are other third parties who are accredited by the Sugar Board? Because if you read the clause 33 further, it says that even government agencies can be inspectors. Mr. Speaker, then why do we need Kenya Sugar Board? Why do we need Kenya Sugar Board? If we are creating another amorphous group of people called Kenya Sugar Industry Inspectors, and then we have a substantive body called Kenya Sugar Board, we are creating contradiction there, and I think that has to be harmonized before we pass this bill. Mr. Speaker, though this bill talks about matters of importation of sugar, issuance of license, valid license will be issued, but it leaves out a very crucial aspect. This aspect of repackaging of sugar, where sugar is imported into this country, repackaged in Mumias sugar brands or Nzoia brands, and sold to the market. The bill is quiet on this, Mr. Speaker. Even the list of regulations to be created by the Cabinet Secretary, it is not listed as one of them. Mr. Speaker, this is a problem. And Senator Halwale knows the effect of this, because even at some point when Mumias sugar was not crushing sugar, we had sugar branded in Mumias on the shelves. Where was it coming from? Mr. Speaker, this is a serious problem that this bill has not addressed. The issue of Clause 63 on staff issues, transition of staff. Mr. Speaker, the earlier bill which had been brought by former MP for Kandui, Mwenye, had a transition clause that was not progressive, because it says the employees who are formerly with the Kenya Sugar Board will not be transitioned to the new Kenya Sugar Board. But this particular bill has ironed out that problem, that all the staffs who are formerly with the original Kenya Sugar Board and those who are with the AFA will all be transitioned to the new Kenya Sugar Board with all their benefits, with all their pension. I think that's progressive, and I fully support that. Mr. Speaker, as I said when I was starting my contribution, that this is work in progress. There are a lot of things that needs to be fixed here. There are a lot of gaps in the sugar industry that needs to be fixed, but this is a start. Let's give it a try, but I look forward for more amendments, even when this has been made law, an act of parliament. Mr. Speaker, with those few remarks, I want to support this bill, and I want to request other members also to support. And those of us who have amendments, we will bring up amendments so that those ambiguities that I have made reference to are dealt with. Mr. Speaker, I've just remembered one thing on privatization. Privatization of our sugar company, I think, must be done very carefully. And there must be wide consultations. It should not be rushed in whatever name it is, even if it is coming as leasing or what, it should not be rushed. The communities and the stakeholders must be heard, and they must be heard properly, so that we don't end up selling our assets to people who are not interested in matters of sugar. They are interested in land, they are interested in property, and they are interested in quick wins, like what happened with pan paper, where a company that is worth 10 billion shillings was sold for only 900 million. And whoever bought the property was not only keen to buy the land, and the Luya community lost. And we are seeing the same being done for Mumias sugar and Nzoia sugar. We will reject, and we will reject strongly. And the Honorable Halwale is our leader in that. He will lead us to reject this privatization, which is earmarked for our sugar companies in Western region, without involving the people and without looking at the benefits that our people will get. Mr. Speaker, I support.
Senator Mundigi Alex.
Bwana Speaker, mimi naunga mkono mjadala